Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Richmond, Virginia. Payback is the goal of this show. To give some type of bill. What do we get? My question is this. What is the WD? I'm confused about this show a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it's because of all the stuff I'm going through right now. And that isn't that much of a lie. I'm going through some stuff right now and you already know it. But what is the WWE trying to relay here? I don't know. The opening of this show with Triple H losing twice to Curtis Axel, one DQ and another forfeit. And Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, kiss my ass, takes the ring bell and a mic. I understand that the last week was to try and really boost ratings because the week before that, ratings were very low. That's the reason why they carted out Mr. McMahon and Stephanie. Stephanie with the curves you can't see in that executive clothes, no dress, just executive clothes. She doesn't want people to see how curvy she is now with those big boobs. But the point is, what are they trying to do here between Mr. McMahon and Triple H? Really? Are they going to have a fight at SummerSlam? The latest? Payback the earliest? Are they trying to promote something else entirely different? The way this show went down, it felt like they're trying to promote something for the next pay-per-views. But I don't think they're going to do that. Mr. McMahon is 66 years old. Is he going to jump into the ring and start fighting a 44 or 43-year-old young Triple H? God himself? The father of God is going after God? No, the godfather of the God. What are they doing here? I don't know what this is. This was very confusing. If this was about getting Curtis Axel over, I can understand that, particularly what happened later in the night. But if it's not, this is very confusing for me personally. Now let's do the Curtis Axel bit. We know Curtis Axel won by DQ and by forfeit. Seeing The Miz with Cody Rhodes, and I feel sorry for Cody that he's an afterthought, 100%. There's nothing there. And then having Wade on the mic, commentary. I was bored with the entire match and I was bored with Wade's commentary. And I like Wade Barrett. I like The Miz. I even like Cody Rhodes, but this entire situation was boring. Until Paul Heyman came out after the match was over and said Curtis Axel is going to be replacing Fandango. And this is another thing that I'm saying with the WWE, and I'll explain that in a minute. But seeing Curtis Axel take that spot makes me hope they're going to give him the title. Yes, he has no real construction for his character. He's only been put over by either DQ, disqualification, countout, or collapse. Yes, but if you're trying to make a new star right now, this is one of the best ways you can do it. I agree with the Sleg Daddy. They're trying to slide him under the radar right now. Does this mean it's good work? No. No, I mean, I can say this. For Curtis Axel, for this situation, by sliding him under the radar, it's not great work, and it's not absolutely good work, but it's work. We've been screaming for new stars for quite a long time. I know I have. And as they say, when in doubt, heel him out. At this moment, Curtis Axel is a heel. We don't know if he can do a good face. And to be honest, I don't know if he can even do a good heel either. His character has had no time for development. They're not progressing him up the card. They're not. But in this case, throwing him under the radar as he is may still work. If anybody remembers Monster Garage and remembers Jesse James doing Monster Garage, he's a lowbrow type of guy at that time. And the producers slid him under the radar as the anti-host. And he worked 100%. He blew that show up to massive proportions. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Curtis Axel. He may be mediocre at best. But the point is, at least we're getting a mediocre at best right now. This could have been done 2 years ago. That's what my perception is. When he was already brought in around 2008, 2009. And by 2011, he could have had this moniker of Curtis Axel, but they didn't do it. He could have had great progression and growth, but they didn't do it. So now they have no choice but to do this because they have no one to work with. They have no face stars. They have no heel stars. They got to do something with somebody. So I'm going to take it for what it is. They're sliding him under the radar, and I'm going to take it for what it is. If he wins, okay. Now Fandango. This is another problem I see with the WWE, that they're pushing too hard. Because of the bad ratings they've been getting lately. Really. Look what happened to Dolph. Dolph has not been pushed, but people like him. Dolph has not been given any real good progression of his character. That usually would go with the push. But in this case, you can have progression of a character, but doesn't mean you have to be always pushed. Nothing. Then he gets a concussion. And he's out for almost 5 or 6 weeks. What do we get? Nothing. Now Fandango had been pushed. And he now has a concussion. I have this feeling the WWE is trying so hard to get interest in the product because they can see the ratings going down. They're pushing their talent too hard. And now, where they don't have to have their talent get hurt so easily, you got 2 guys that had concussions now. Now Kofi is out. He's going to be out for at least 8 weeks, which he deserves because he's been on the go for years now. He needed some time off. But dude, he could have had time off a long time ago. You could have gave him something really good, then take him away for a couple months and then bring him back. But no, we haven't had that. So now Kofi himself, with an actual injury, is also out. At least he gets time with his son and his wife, which I'm happy about for him. But you can see this throughout the night, that they're really trying so hard to give us something, but then they give us nothing. Now, let's see. I really want to get this over with now. The face-off between Cena and Ryback. Seeing them actually put out the Lumberjacks now to let Cena and Ryback face, and then Ryback not in the ring. You could say is it better having Ryback outside the ring than in the ring? No, because Ryback got squashed by Cena on the mic, and the mic skills for Cena are not good at all. I'm sorry if anybody likes Cena's mic skills. They're not that good. I'm not saying he didn't do a decent job here, but compared to other talkers, Cena is not a good talker. And Ryback, I have no interest in Ryback right now. Because they switched him from face to heel. Because they made him a weak chicken shit heel. I had no interest. And since they're not teaching him how to be able to promote himself, if he'd had more time on NXT as Ryback, or on SmackDown as Ryback, and then was allowed to talk for a little while, and then he gets a better ability to talk before he got switched from face to heel, maybe I might buy this. But Ryback is so weak as a heel, I don't expect anything out of this. If Ryback, and I'm saying this right now, I don't know if I can do a prediction, but I'm going to say this now. If Ryback is allowed to win this, I don't know where they're going to go with this. What can they make Ryback better at? Because he's not a good heel. He was doing way better as a face because he didn't need to talk. He just needed to bulldoze. And they're forcing a character who used to non-talking to be a talker with no practice, no coaching, and he sounds terrible. At the end of it, we got a fight, which we expected, but I didn't feel anything from it. So I'm going to move on from there. Chris Jericho talking about the only thing I can say that he put Punk over well, and he did well with himself. I'm not going to talk anything about Dolph and that bit, not yet, but let me put it to you like this. Do I have interest in the Jericho Punk feud going into Payback? No. The only thing I'm waiting to see is if Jericho wins this, it would make sense because you need to have CM Punk get broken down. The same as Cena, but at least with CM Punk, if they structure it right, it could be more interesting. At least they made CM Punk leave. Cena didn't leave for a whole year in his supposedly road to redemption. They just made him stay there and it felt empty. Here, at least they structured it enough that they had him go away for 2 months. I would have liked 4 months or 3 months. That would have been better. But that's okay. That's just my feeling. Having him gone 2 months, I did say that. At least 2 months. So that makes it more interesting. If he comes back and he loses, this will go in a better progression for his character to be rebuilt as a face. But that's if Jericho wins. And I don't see that happening. I don't believe he's going to win. I'll be glad if he wins because Jericho deserves a win before he goes off for a couple of months again. Go back to Fonzie. And this will be great. And this will be great for CM Punk because CM Punk needs to lose. Doesn't need to win here. Now the match between Biggie Langston and Jericho was not really much. Bringing back Dolph there might have been necessary, but I've had no real interest because they're throwing him on the app instead of showing him on television. And we know Jericho wins that match. So I'm going to move on to the Caitlyn segment. Caitlyn with Biggie and AJ. Now I said it might have been one of the Bellas. I'm not the type that'll just say it can be the Bellas or that I know I can't be wrong. I'm the type of person that if I'm wrong, I face up to it. So I was wrong. No one's really brought me saying, dude, you're wrong about the Bellas. They're not going to be like that. I understand that. And I'm thankful. But I know I was wrong. At least unless there's something more to this other than AJ. But I believe I was wrong. So I can take that and I'll fess up to it. Now what happens here? Biggie Langston comes out, which at one moment made me a little surprised at Biggie Langston, but then I thought of AJ and I thought, oh, this is trying to promote something between them. And then seeing AJ after Caitlyn gets thrown to the floor, I wasn't very interested. Not. What do I see here? A match that really wasn't promoted very well. A match that really wasn't thought of very well. The one between Caitlyn and Layla might have been way more interesting than Caitlyn and AJ. Really. Because it would have been easier for a Caitlyn and a Layla to get more heat than a Caitlyn and an AJ, because I just don't feel it. It's making my scalp itch that this was not promoted better. And I have no interest. So the last few things I'm going to talk about is the Wyatt family. Brad Wyatt. I'm saying that I like the promos and I can't wait to see how they're going to present him and his family. It's going to be very interesting to see how Wyatt is going to be shown. But I'm hoping to keep these promos up because they did it twice during the night. The final thing I'm going to talk about, which is the most important thing, will be the Three Stooges. Kane, Daniel Bryan, and Orton. And I know people are going to say, you did not just say that. I'm going to say it because it's true. Look at this. You got Kane and Daniel Bryan mixed in with Randy Orton. It's almost like they have nothing for these three to do, so they're interchanging them. And it feels like the Three Stooges, Mo, Larry, and Curly. To be honest, the one that gets smacked around seems to be Daniel Bryan. Mo seems to be Kane, and Curly seems to be Orton. That's the best way I can come up with. If you can, give me an idea of who Mo, Larry, and Curly is in your perspective of these three guys. Hearing that the matches that these guys are going to have a payback is like this. Kane for the U.S. title and Daniel Bryan and Orton for the tag team title. This is very... It's at least a difference. But the thing here is, it looks like they have nothing for these guys. Excuse me. Sorry, been a little sick. Nothing for these guys to do. But I can say that the matches both Daniel Bryan and Orton had were pretty good. Orton and Seth Rollins was way better. No, not Orton and Seth Rollins. Sorry. Bryan and Seth Rollins was way better than Orton and Roman Reigns. I really have to say that the Roman Reigns and Orton match was alright. But the Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins was very good. The crowd was very into it. And I have to say this. It was like an ROH type of match. It was. For such high impact, high energy, that's what it was. The crowd loved it. And I'm sure a lot of ROH fans are going to say right now, hey, you can see, people see it the way we see it. It's a great match. Yes, it was. As long as it's not done constantly. As long as you don't see matches like that constantly, it's special, it's fresh, it's alright. But if you have it every single time, it loses interest. It's like the triple threat for the X Division. I think they've gone away from that, but I don't know. But the point of this is, if you do something too much, people get bored of it. So seeing this once in a while is not that bad. So how do I rate this show? The way this show was, to be honest, C plus. I didn't get a very big hyping for Payback. I didn't. Does this mean there weren't things good that was done in it? No. But I didn't see it that well. The Virginia crowd was great. I'm not going to lie about that. Seth Rollins and Bryan's match was great. It was. Getting all these... Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. The Sin Cara and the Antonio Cesaro match. The reason it slipped my mind is that Jack Swagger, I'm taking guesses going to court right now. If I'm not, tell me below. But honestly, there's no interest in that. That's the only reason I didn't say anything. So I really give this a C plus. I don't really have any good hyping at all. And the only reason I'm not really going to mention much about the Damien Sandow and Sheamus segment, I don't see anything good there either. I'm just mentioning it like this because I want people to understand I didn't forget it. It's just that even with that wasn't enough. This is a C plus show. Don't get me wrong, things were still done pretty well in it. But even the Mark Henry promo, which I'm a Mark Henry fan, how Sheamus demolished the man, how are you going to bring him back? Unless he's turning face, bring him back as the way he used to be. I feel empty because he should have been dominant, not treated like dirt. And Smokey, my son, if you ever get to see this, it ain't right what they're doing to Mark Henry. He deserves better, and so do we. So I hope you deserve... have a lot on my mind, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you enjoy this show and subscribe and comment to it. I'm hoping to get my Impact done and a couple other things done as soon as possible. But like I said, I got problems right now. So I'm very sorry if this review sounds a little disjointed. There's a lot on my mind. So have a good day.